Hey there, Heather Boyd here, and welcome to day 7 of the 10-day watercolor challenge. In this challenge, we'll be doing some pretty simple designs for watercolor using all kinds of different techniques, and we'll be making them in a small card size that you can turn into greeting cards or little miniature works of art. If you're participating in the challenge, be sure to subscribe to my channel and join my private Facebook group. In the group, you can share photos of your projects for the next 10 days. And if you're watching this video after the challenge has ended, go ahead and join the group and share your own artwork. Any mixed media art is fantastic. So have fun with the challenge videos, and I can't wait to see what you create. Today I'm going to show you how to mask out lines and areas with drawing gum and rubber cement. So the first experiment I did was actually with white glue. I used some tacky glue just to draw out the word love. Did a few little dots around the outside. This was just a total experiment to see what people could do if they don't have the masking fluid. So I just went with a toothpick and pulled out a few little lines to make it a little more fancy. And then after I was happy with it, I let it dry completely. And then I went in with my paints to just cover the areas with abstract areas of color. So I just went in with different colors that I liked, making sure they're quite wet so they could blend together. Sometimes I use my towel to wipe up little areas if there's too much water. I generally don't like to use paper towel, so I just use an old towel or a washcloth. And I just went with some blues and magentas and reds just to blend in the colors to make it pretty. I went in with some purple and different colors, just covering up the whole area. You could also do texture with salt and alcohol if you want to. Otherwise, just cover up the whole surface with the paint. And you'll see the love comes out. You can see it like that. In fact, if I was to do it again, I think I would just leave it like that and not try to remove the glue, because you're going to see what's going to happen when I try to remove the glue. So once it was dry, I tried to pull the glue off, and it did not work whatsoever, even with my fingernail. So I got a little knife and tried to pull the glue up, but that kind of massacred the paper a little bit. So it ended up looking a little bit fuzzy because of the grains of the paper. I did remove the whole thing, but I wouldn't recommend this method. You're going to battle with it. It didn't turn out horribly, but there are other better ways to do this. So second attempt, I actually used the drawing gum. It's also known as masking fluid. You can buy this in any art store. Be sure not to shake the bottle because it creates bubbles. If you need to stir it, just use a toothpick or something. So I just went in with the masking fluid, and I got a very tiny, fine brush, and I used it in that manner. Now, I used to teach at a local art school, and I seem to remember using this masking fluid with a calligraphy pen to get finer lines. So whatever works for you is great. I just went ahead and did my main lines, tried to use very quick brush strokes. It's nice when the lines are a variety of widths. You don't want them too thick. These got even a little thick for my liking. But I just did sort of the basic wispy lines. And then after, I went in and did some dots with the drawing gum, just a bunch of little dots. And then I pulled out with the toothpick to make them a little more kind of pointy. So once it's dry, you're going to paint it. I forgot to film this part, but I did use a little bit of salt and a mix of different colors on it. Turned out nice and vibrant, and then once you remove the gum, it looks really cool. So next I tried the rubber cement. You can get this at any craft store or hardware store. I went with a fine brush to do the design. I wanted to do something quite abstract, so I just did like wiggly lines to represent a tree with a little straight line at the bottom to represent the trunk. And once it's dry, I went on and did the paint, just a mix of different earthy colors. But honestly, this one did not turn out at all because I think I put on too much of the rubber cement and the trees aren't defined at all. So this one didn't work so well. Next, I tried to put the rubber cement in a little zippy bag. This is one of those zippy bags from the dollar store, and it's a little tricky getting it in the bag. It's a bit messy, but it's definitely worth it to try this method instead. So get some in the bag. You don't need too much, and then zip it up. And what you're going to do is cut a tiny little corner. And then when you go to do the design, it's much easier to control how much you put on the paper. So I'm doing little flower designs, pretty abstract, just loose and fun. I'm discovering with you guys how these mediums work, and then a few little dots for detail. So once it's 100% dry, you're going to go in with your colors and just make it pretty. So I'm using a lot of pinks, magentas, fuchsias, different colors. You can do different colors in different areas, and I tend to go for these colors a lot. I like the bright colors. Some of you might like more earthy colors, and you just want to cover the whole surface with color, and then you can see that the flower shapes are showing through. Dab up a little excess water if it gets too watery, and just cover the whole area. This is why we tape down the paper, otherwise it'll stretch out of shape, and it also makes a nice little frame around the paper when it's finished. So I'm doing more yellows and greens at the bottom, and then blending up towards the reds and the blues. And just keep playing around with it, cover up all those areas, and then you'll see, like magic, all your designs that were done in the rubber cement are going to show through. So we'll just keep going until we're done. You can go over the edge because they're taped, and once it's complete and you're happy with it, you're going to let it dry 100%, and now you just roll off the rubber cement, and it's like magic. It makes the beautiful little designs show through like that. And then you tear the masking tape away from the paper so you don't rip the paper, and you'll see it makes a beautiful piece that could be put on a greeting card. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more art tutorials, and join the private Facebook group to share photos of your work from all the challenges. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the next time.